I returned to the land of the living with Simon, Sam, and Tim standing over me. Your brother's going to die, I said as I stood up. I heard you to find him, not assassinate him. This shit is way past what you can afford. Paranormal cases are paid for in gold, specifically gold coins. Unless you got 30,000 bucks lying around, you're not dictating shit! Plus, if an Olympian gets his hand on him before I can, it's out of my hands. I admit that I was being too harsh. He just wanted to help his brother. And I get that, but it's hard to be empathetic when you just took an uppercut from a guy with super strength and your arm is still reforming from shreds of flesh and bone. As the last of the pill worked its way out of my system, I noticed fresh scars on the arm that was obliterated and an unusual weakness in my legs. I had to lean on Devin the entire way home. As we opened the door, Bella, who had been crawling on the ceiling, snatched me from Devin, scaring the piss out of him. Honey, I love you, but the last thing I need right now is what's left of my blood rushing to my head, I said wearily as I began to drift off from exhaustion. It was quiet when I came to. I was in an ice bath with Sam watching over me. It took longer this time. Is that a bad sign? He said with more than a hint of concern in his voice. I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask my in-law the next time I see them. As if on cue, a flaming pentagram formed next to the tub, and a woman with long black hair and dark red eyes appeared, leaning towards me, almost nose to nose. Speak of the devil, I said as Sam took a step back. More like my daughter called me worried, Lucifer said as they looked at me. After thoroughly inspecting my arm, they took a second to contemplate. I'm going to need some of your blood. Once I figure out what's going on, I'll tell you. Until then, you're going to have to take it easy. At least try. While Lucifer was lecturing me, I noticed a child, almost orangutan-looking being. My brain must have been more rattled than I thought. My pseudo-nephew was here too. Noah, I said, causing the little Sasquatch to look my way. He waved and stared back up at Sam, who was mimicking his confused head tilts.
Dante, are you listening?
Lucifer scolded as they gave me a look of disappointment. Don't use the pills for a while, all right? I gave a thumbs up in response before sliding back into my watery coffin and began counting as I held my breath. I burst out of the tub as a loud bang reverberated through my house. I stumbled through the hall as my legs were still regaining their strength. I tripped over my own feet, cursing as I tried to pick myself back up. A full-grown, pitch-black pit bull with 3 heads excitedly charged at me. No, down boy! We tumbled as he tackled me, all 3 heads aggressively licking my face. Okay, buddy. How the hell are you this big? I tried to say while pushing away the onslaught of affection. The scene in the kitchen was pure insanity. Simon and Noah sat across from each other at the broken table Bella was standing over, eyes glowing and smile filled with excitement as she cheerfully shouted Uno at the top of her lungs, with her last card in her hand. I looked at the kitchen table I made myself, which was now decimated with Uno cards all over the room. You okay, Noah? The little Sasquatch merely gave me a thumbs up before throwing the last of his cards down, all draw 4s. Bella's face dropped as she realized that she'd just broken the table for nothing. Her red-toned skin was just a bit brighter as her eyes met mine. She sheepishly apologized as Simon, Noah, and I went to get the spare table. I kept in the basement, leaving her to clean up the cards and table pieces. Now I'm going to say this, after doing this job, I've been paid in and or given many things. Simon's jaw nearly hit the floor as he looked at what Bella calls my hoard. He looked like a kid at his first convention. Everything piqued his interest. Noah, on the other hand, ran over to exactly what he was interested in. the tiny suit of samurai armor that Lucifer had made just for him. Not today. Your dad would lose it. I spotted the table's faint glow from under the tarp. The tree stump that's been converted into a table was a gift from Titania after I tracked down some thief for her. I'm gonna say this, stealing from the Fae is a horrible idea, by the way. The guy I tracked down has to find every piece of his skin and reattach it like a puzzle. Anyway, the table is a bit too flashy for regular company, but it's great for D&D nights. A large tree stump with a clear top and shifting fluorescent dust under its surface. I placed my hand on the tabletop, and the dust shifted into a forest landscape surrounding a lake with a small island in the center. How does that even work? Simon said, staring curiously. To put it simple, magic. You touch the table and it shows you a place that you've been before, somewhere you can think of, or a place you might go. Both Noah and Simon took turns in messing with the table while I snuck off to grab a few other things. My special duffel bag was right where I left it with a note on it. A few things that might come in handy. Don't make my daughter worry too much now. L. My usual knuckle dusters, hunting knife, and a collapsible baton were swapped with ones made of a familiar black metal, along with a box of ammo for the sweetheart cannon. The devil cares for their own. After Simon, Noah, and I got the new spare table in the kitchen, I laid out the options for Simon. Alright, we've got two options. Wait for your brother to pull another stunt or try to figure out what he does next. Simon spoke like he didn't want the answer to his question. What do we do when we find him? Look, I'm sorry for snapping at you. I shouldn't have done that. Hearing that, Simon, Noah, and the Cerberus gave me a confused look as if they'd just witnessed some impossible incident. Sam made himself known with a shocked whistle, and Bella rested her chin on my head. Progress? Anyway... Sam, any updates on Hades? Sam took a second to wonder how he should tell me the news. Well, we've got in contact with the Greek gods, but they weren't Hades. Eris and Hermes will be here soon. They said an in-person meeting was necessary. The air in the room felt heavy after Sam said who was coming. The subtle tremors against my body told me everything. Easy now. The gentle tone of my voice seemed to calm her down a bit. Her face was buried in my back as she held me. Who's Eris? Simon asked as he petted the Cerberus. Eris is the goddess of chaos and discord. Specifically, the chaos of battle and rivalry. She was also technically my manager when I used to compete in underground fighting.